Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're another What Are You Playing episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's playing games with me tonight?
Hey everybody, this is Kyle, and I'm here to talk about what I've been playing and everything else I've been doing over the past couple of months.
And I'm Michael Colby from Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, and I've been playing and watching stuff this past, 2 months.
I've been watching stuff. I'll start off. I haven't played a single game that isn't for this podcast, unfortunately, at all in the last month, which is not surprising. I lied.
Yeah.
There's one that I almost forgot. Marvel Snap. I'm still playing Marvel Snap. I would have guessed. It's a game. It's still there. I still love it.
I don't like technically a game. Yes.
I don't like their economy that they changed it to. I really don't like it, but game's fine. I mean, neither of you are playing Marvel Snap, right?
No, not really.
No.
Okay, so I don't need
I'm not really good with card games. I don't know what it is with me. I just never seem to be.
You don't need to get suckered into that. I mean, that's a mobile game that every month they get my $10, and they've been getting more money. They've been squeezing more money out of me too. So.
Oh God! Oh no!
Like, look at this $5 pack where you get a mystery variant and some credits. I'm like, ooh, $5. I'm like, what am I doing, Mike?
Yeah, I played from the beginning until they changed the store the first time. And I was like, oh, I see where this is going. And I just uninstalled it and never looked at it again.
I get it. My issue with it now is it used to be a cycle where every month cards would drop down and I would get some cards that I might have missed if I waited. Now the system is nothing drops down. But I think if they do it for a few months, they're trying to build up a collection of cards that you can get out of these special boxes that you get one a week. If you're doing everything the game has to offer, as a free to play player like I do. I'm not free to play, but if you do those options, you'll earn about one special box called a Spotlight Cache every week, and then you can get new cards out of that, especially if you're someone that doesn't have all the cards. Unlike me, where I have almost everything, it's a gamble where you have 4 options of what you can get, and a lot of times it'll be one of the 4 I want. So I'm like, we are not going to touch anything until the odds are better. To where I'm missing at least 2 cards to make it worth my odds to play the game.
Yeah, there was also I think it was at not the Game Awards, but it was at one of Keeley's things. The guy who makes Marvel Snap, one of the main guys from there, came out, and he has this this pirate mustache combination thing, and he was so obnoxious, and I'm like, God, if this is the guy that I'm supposed to be giving money to, no thank you.
No, I get it. I'm suckered in. I'm also only missing let's see, I think 11 cards in the game currently out of the well over 100 something that the 200, 300 cards are in the game. So I'm a different type of player than people who are just starting out playing the game.
Yeah.
It's still fun. I mean, you can easily play free to play. I mean, I recommend if you like it, spend the $10, do the season pass. Do not spend other money. Just do the season pass every month if you really like it. I mean, I do spend more, but I try not to. I actually had to stop myself. I could have, but they have a throwback event where you have special card backs. And I was like, ooh, I missed these. And I was like, $10. And I was sitting there hovering. I'm like, what are you doing, Mike? Stop it. I mean, so I had to stop because there was a Daredevil and a Punisher background for the cards. I'm like, ooh, this will look cool. My digital card game. But I bought the Thor one, though, the month before.
The more you're talking about this, the more I'm glad I'm not into this.
No, you're not.
God, I would be suckered in so much with all of this. These cards look so freaking cool, and they have all these, awesome points to them. I want to get them, and then, oh, God. No.
Oh, no, they can. I mean, I still enjoy it. It's a perfect game for me to mess around with when I just need something to just... I don't even give a shit about competitive aspect. I just play. I try to do whatever the missions are. If I lose... I don't fucking care half the time. I'm just playing to play.
Yeah,
so you can do that.
The game itself is definitely an interesting one of those, one of those card games. It's just I'm not into those collectible card games as much as I would need to be to get to not be turned off instantly from that ecosystem.
And that's fair. And are you a big fan of Marvel?
No.
Okay, I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah, I was a DC guy when I was in when I was reading comics. I'm a big space guy. I like Silver Surfer as far as Marvel goes, but like I was huge into Green Lantern since I was a kid. So
Okay.
So yeah, that's sort of where I am with comics. And I know that they did a Silver Surfer card, but like I was looking at it and I'm like, this sucks. Like, so I was like, you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah, no, it'd be hard to, I mean, I got it for the 10 because I paid the $10 each month, so that's all I got Silver Surfer back when it came out. But yeah,
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff like that where it's hard to get, and a lot of people are angry when they change the system where before about like 6 months, you know that a card would drop down to like the free area, kind of, well, not really free, but the pool 3, which is the main. So majority of people would be able to get it easier, and they kind of changed the system where they're not really doing that right now, so a lot of people are not happy.
Yeah, I can get that.
I'm one of them, but I know they're going to eventually change the system to something else. So I'm like, yeah, well, they don't want anyone to be like, I'm trying to get every card in the game. They don't want you to have every card in the game. That's not how they want
that
you to play this.
that type of shit. Ugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just don't want that. I mean, I get it because they want people to experiment with different cards, and they do a good job of buffing and nerfing cards. Like if there's something that's overpowering, they will fix it, and I do appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm super weird with like card stuff, like card games like this, or like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or anything. Like, I like the ideas of them, and like I'd love. I mean, I've played them kind of, and like I like the ideas of them, but like I don't know. I feel like there's something about them that I'm a little afraid of, like getting addicted to them or something like that. So.
No, that's fair. That's completely fair.
I'm definitely like I'm a huge like I used to be way more into it, but I love Magic. Like I think it's one of the most fun, like perfect games. And every time I find a collectible card game, I'm like, well, I would rather be playing Magic than this. So like they kind of nailed it out of the gate with collectible card games. So like anything that falls short of Magic the Gathering is like, all right, whatever. And I'm not talking shit because I mean, Marvel Snap is way more like accessible than Magic the Gathering is,
and a lot cheaper actually.
And it's way cheaper. Like it's easier to find games. I totally get Marvel Snap, but like, there's something about the intricacies of, you know, if I'm playing a card game that I'm gonna get like invested in, I want it to have mechanics like that get me invested in it and not just like, you know, 2-minute games over and over again. But that's me. I'm a weirdo.
I can totally get that, honestly. Like I can get that.
I played a ton of Magic back in the day, and I spent a ton of money on Magic back in the day. So I'm like, you know, I'm good. I don't need that again.
I'm down to. I can probably they're probably within arm's reach, but I have like 9 Magic decks anymore, and I got rid of the rest of my cards.
Okay.
So it's just casual games for me anymore.
My cards are mostly gone, and I moved too many times, and I don't even know what happened to my cards anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
I have my rares still. I think in my parents' house in a binder, probably in a drawer in the attic.
Yeah, got to keep your rares. Got to keep your rares in a binder.
But yeah, all my regular cards, which really don't matter. I mean, they're gone at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's enough Marvel Snap, though.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to keep it short. I mean, I've gone like half an hour on Marvel Snap, but I don't have anyone else to talk about.
Dude, fine. This is the catch-up podcast, you know? Like, let's chat about, like, what we've been doing. So, no, I can totally get that.
And, Michael, what is something you've been playing?
Oh, man. I have so many games. Can I do 3?
Sure.
Just real quick, just bang them out. Alan Wake, the remaster went on PlayStation Plus last month.
Nice. Ooh,
and
hell yeah.
That's what I think about Alan Wake. Such a great game.
Damn good game.
I didn't like. I bought it when it came out on Xbox 360, and like never really got into it. I still don't think the game is fun to play. I think the gameplay is boring because it's the same thing over. Okay, no.
Cancel.
The game is great. I really enjoyed the game. I got back into it because of Control. Control is like literally in my top 10 games of all time. I think Control is a masterpiece. And I was I was like, all right, I'm going to try Alan Wake again. And I got all the way through it, and I'm like, okay, this is a good story. Like, I'm invested in this, but when you're walking from place to place, and after the first chapter, you're like, okay, this is where these guys are going to come out, and then I'm going to have to spend 15 minutes blasting them, and it's so repetitive. I was like, I like this game enough that I'm going to keep doing this, but the gameplay itself is very bad. And Alan Wake 2 looks amazing. I'm super looking forward to that. I think they learned a lot of lessons making Control, which again, masterpiece. One of the best games I've ever played. And having the story of Alan Wake, which I really enjoyed, mixed with, the lessons that they learned since they made the first one. I think Alan Wake 2 is going to be fantastic. But yeah, I finally got through Alan Wake, 15 years after they made it.
I love Alan Wake. It's one of my favorite 360 games. So I have a real soft spot for that game.
Yeah,
I still can't believe there's going to be a sequel. Like, oh my god, like they're going to actually do that. Like it seemed like it just for so long there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, we're going to do an Alan Wake 2, and it's like, oh my god, what?
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm really surprised that even is happening. Like, that is not a game that I thought I would ever see a sequel.
Well, Alan Wake was always Remedy's, that was their baby. So they wanted to do that. And I think Control being as good and as well received as it was is why Alan Wake 2 is happening.
Okay. Of course.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's the internet. You're going to hear bad stuff. There are going to be people like, oh, why do I have to play as a girl? There's those people. And fuck those people.
I agree.
But you're going to have those people. But otherwise, I can't imagine how anyone could say anything bad about Control. And that's why I got back into Alan Wake. And I'm also a huge fan of Deadly Premonition.
That's a good
hell
game
yeah.
too.
Yes.
I think that actually made me like Alan Wake less because I already had a Twin Peaks-like game that I was playing that I already really liked. And I'm like, I don't need another one. You know what I mean?
I get it. I mean, Alan Wake, in my opinion, is much, much better, but I get it.
It's a better game, yes. Deadly Premonition is so quirky, and I'll take quirky over good every day of the week. And again, that's me. I'm a weirdo.
Of course.
Well, it just depends on what you're into. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. What kind of games that you like. I mean, I don't know what it was, but I fell in love with Alan Wake back in the day when I played it. And I played it for the show, too. I played it 3 or 4 times at this point, so. But I have not touched Control. You have talked about Control a couple times in this show.
Yeah.
And I am going to put it, I am pretty sure I'm going to put it on next year and make myself finally play it because it sounds good. My goal, the only reason I keep coming on this show is because I want everyone to play Control. It's so good. And if you don't have me on the Control episode, I'm going to be very mad. I will. Whenever that day does finally come that I actually make myself do it, you will be there.
Okay. Yeah. Put it on next slot you have available. Control. and right now, this didn't happen when I played it originally, but they added difficulty sliders, and you can make the game impossible to lose. You can play through the game without being able to die with infinity ammunition, infinity energy for your telekinesis and everything. You can blow through that game if that's what you need to do to get through it.
That is.
I still think that the story and just seeing the environments and how weird that game is worth it. Even if the difficulty of it is 0.
Okay. No, I've been curious about it, so it's always been on my list to finally get around to. So
yeah, and at the very least, I would recommend turning those difficulty sliders a little bit down because the game is rough at spots.
I have no problem playing a game on easy. I will briefly mention that I've been playing Phoenix Rising, and I tried to play it on easy, and I'm just like, what are you doing, Mike? And then I just threw it on story mode. It's a little too easy, but had to. What the other games you've been playing that you want to mention?
Okay, the other two, I did mention Deadly Premonition. There is another game from Swery that I played through, and it's called The Missing J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories.
I've heard about that game.
It is like, it's kind of okay. Here's the thing: the story is about being transgender, and I am not that.
I am.
And I have a lot of friends who are, and I'm like, so I don't know, but it seems to be a lot more delicate with that sort of thing than any game I've ever seen. And when I say delicate, I don't mean it's not rough, because it deals with like suicidal ideologies and like self-harm, and there's a lot of allegory for like some pretty rough stuff in there. But I think, like, at least from my experiences, that seems to be something that a lot of people go through with that. And I think they handle it. I don't think they definitely handle it better than I've ever seen a video game handle it. And it's also a really good puzzle game. So like there's a very weird balance in there of the game being like rough, but also like beautiful, but also a good video game. It's a whole thing. So like, okay. I can totally see people, you know, and if somebody has had a different experience than I have with it, I could totally see that. But it does seem to handle that pretty well. And that's, but it takes a while to get into like what the game's actually about. And until then, you're just playing a very weird puzzle platformer.
And what is this game called again?
It's called The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories.
It is a weird fucking name, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's Swery game.
I like it.
Swery's a cool guy.
I was weeping at the end of it.
Okay. And it's on Steam?
It's on Steam. It's on PlayStation Plus Extra if you have that. I originally played it on Switch, but I didn't get through it because it was hard to see on my Switch Lite. So I couldn't get past one of the puzzles, and I just got all the way through it recently.
Okay. I have no problem cheating in puzzle games. That's why I don't play them.
And then on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, I played McPixel 3, which came out on Game Pass. And there's a lot of times like quirky, funny games. Like I'll try all of them. And McPixel 3 is like if WarioWare was a point-and-click adventure game.
Okay.
It's very short, very silly games with a lot of different things that you can do. Like before you get to the actual solution of what you're supposed to be doing, you can do a lot of like weird things. Like a lot of things involve like peeing on stuff and like at one point you can go outside to solve one of these puzzles. Well, you have to go outside to solve the puzzle. You have to kick a homeless guy in the nuts to give you the keys to a car.
Okay.
The homeless guy, don't worry about him. Everybody in this game also gets kicked in the nuts, including your own character. So you get the car keys from this guy. It's a convertible. You go out to the car. You can pee in the car. It fills the car all the way up, and then you can jump into the car and you splash into your own pee, and then you drive the car away when it's full of your own. Like, that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with. We're going, like, I literally went from this beautiful game about like somebody's journey figuring themselves out, and at the end, like I was ugly crying at the end of J.J. Macfield. And I go right to a game where I filled up a car with pee and then drove it away. Like that's, it was a fucking nightmare for like my emotions that day.
I can understand why. That's some strange gaming there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list of like stuff that I beat so far this year, and it's all, I think, what do we got here? There's like 4 proper games on here, and then a bunch of like weird 1 to 4 hour indie things. I love weird 1 to 4 hour indie games.
Starting to see that. I do too. Honestly, I like shorter games. I don't play enough of them because I have this problem where everything I play I want to record about. So I don't record. I don't play as much stuff, but also like I'm so fucking busy with my life between work and trying to be a decent husband and making a podcast. Like sometimes it gets in the way of things, but but I try. So yeah, I don't play a lot. Kyle, what games have you been playing?
Okay. Well, I've been playing a couple of miscellaneous games throughout the past, pretty much the summer. So to start things off from, the beginning of June, I am a huge fan of fighting games. I've always have been since I was a little kid. I just, I think it's the disabilities in me that I don't know. Like, I love the idea that, like, I feel like I feel like I wouldn't be able to really learn martial arts in real life or anything like that, or self-defense. But in a video game, I love just being able to like shoot a fireball or do a hurricane kick and that type of stuff. So yeah, I bought Street Fighter 6 and I love it. I think it's excellent. I think Capcom really learned something from 5 with 6. And I don't know, I feel like this is them trying to do their redemption song. It's a damn solid game. The new characters are awesome. I love the new characters. I never really had too much of an issue with the new characters in 5. I liked a decent majority of them. I feel like that was actually one of the better things about 5 were some of the newer characters. But yeah, the new characters in 6 are excellent. I love them. Big fan of characters like Kimberly. I think she's a total blast. I think her moves are fun. I feel like she's kind of a fun response to an earlier Street Fighter and Final Fight character where like Guy is also Kimberly is a ninja, where like Guy is also a ninja, where like if Guy is the Ryu of this like ninja clan, she's the Ken. She has a lot of like Ken like sort of moves where like her hurricane kick does multiple hits, where Ryu or Guy, their hurricane kick only hits like once or twice. So, I think the new characters are a total blast. Even characters that I feel like I want to hate the crap out of, like Luke. I'm like, damn it, Luke's actually kind of fun. Like,
Luke,
I hate saying that.
Luke looks like such a douchebag, but he's so sweet. You have to love Luke.
It's like you think he's gonna come up like this, like, and it's bad enough that he looks like those awful Logan brothers from real life, and I'm like, no, I want to hate this jackass, but like, no, he's actually like a decent guy in like the story, and he's like a decent dude, and he's nice, and he's like trying to help people, and he's a decently fun character to play as. Like, he has some fun moves, and
the single player for Street Fighter 6.
The single player is pretty fun. It has this really cute like open world thing. I kind of lost interest. Not that it's any fault of the game, but it's just like I want to do like online stuff, and I want to like do like verses and stuff like that, because that's like my jam with Street Fighter. But the open world thing is really cute. There's like a million Capcom references in the open world. Like there's like a million Capcom references, and they're all like awesome, and I love it. And yeah, Street Fighter 6 is excellent. I think it's a blast. A damn good redemption song for Capcom. I hope they do more just good things in the future. I've had my bouts with Capcom where like I grew up with Capcom games. Like I love them. I've always loved them, even when I've disliked them. I'm like I can't stay mad at you, Capcom. Damn it, you just when I think I hate you, you do something to win my heart, and I'm like,
I get it completely. I've been a big fan of Capcom for a long time too, and we do so many freaking Capcom games on this show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 is excellent. And along with that, I've actually done something a little different from one of my favorite genres of fighting games. I've actually hopped onto the RPG genre, and I picked up the really fantastic HD releases from Atlas of the Etrian Odyssey games on Steam. I picked them up. I got the PC version on Steam, and they are just fantastic. They are so delightful. I love that they have this like old school PC gamer like feeling of like drawing your own maps, and like you're in this like dungeon, and then you're really deep in, and you got your little crew with you, and you're just trying to get through the dungeon, and it's awesome. And like I've wanted to get into Etrian Odyssey for a long time. I played the DS games, but I thought they were a little too hardcore for me. Like I felt like I just wasn't I wasn't clicking with something. But this new HD remaster is fantastic, and like I'm usually kind of picky with Atlas stuff. Like, there's times where I've criticized them, and I feel like the criticism should stand, and like. But honestly, with these Etrian Odyssey re-releases, they are fantastic. They've really put their whole heart into this. Like, they're extremely accessible. Like, they have all sorts of difficulty options and accessibility options, and like they have auto mapping, and they have a whole bunch of just cool features. But yeah, I'm currently playing through the first Etrian Odyssey. I'm in the fourth dungeon, which is like the sandy forest dungeon. And it's a little tricky. It has these like moving sand currents that like if you stand on them, you get moved around. So it's a bit of a tricky area, but I'm getting through it, and I'm having a lot of fun. I have a little announcement, and speaking of that too with RPGs. So for the first time ever in my life, I actually beat the original Final Fantasy, and I beat it with the Pixel remaster.
Nice.
So,
that's a great game. I haven't played the Pixel remaster, but I played the Dawn of Souls version on Game Boy Advance.
Nice.
Very, very good game.
Oh yeah, those Game Boy Advance remakes are like excellent.
Don't play
those
the original NES. That's not.
Those are so good. Yeah, the NES one's a little hard to go back to, but yeah, and I'm also gonna say too, speaking of like giving shout outs, I'm actually gonna give a shout out to the Pixel remasters. I thought those would be just like crappy, lazy, like Square Enix not giving a crap, but like no, the Pixel remasters are fantastic. They are seriously some of the best remastering I've seen in a game. Square Enix definitely gave a shit. Like they care about this, and they are absolutely fantastic. These are 10 out of 10 remasters. Like, this is how you remaster a game. And I had a blast playing through the first Final Fantasy and beating it. That was a blast. Man, like when I beat that final boss and I got to the credits, I was just like, oh my god, and I'm freaking out, and like I can't believe I did it. So I've actually moved on to a new Final Fantasy with that.
Which one?
I moved on to 4 because that's actually my favorite.
Very good.
I played 4 a lot on Super Nintendo as a kid, and I've always appreciated storytelling as a game too. For like when it came out, I felt like, man, this is actually a really impressive storyline. Like, this is really deep and kind of dark too for like 1991. So
especially if they didn't edit out the stuff, like a lot of people die in 4. Like a lot of your characters die.
The very beginning of 4 is kind of like a little intense. Like when it shows
innocent people.
Yeah, you just like outright murder people for the crystals. Like they try to stop you, like, no, please, we need this crystal, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, this is like, no, we are a part of the king's service, and we are taking it from you. And like they just murder people, like flat out murder them. And yeah, it's really dark, and it's like, okay, game, damn, we're gonna go with this type of mood set. All right. But yeah, I've started 4, and it's excellent. Once again, these Pixel remasters. I was doubting Square Enix, but no, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm very, very happy to be wrong. Like Square Enix and Atlas, they really gave a shit with these like remasters of Etrian Odyssey and the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. These are both excellent and very much worth your time. Honestly, as pricey as they come off, like they're worth the money. Like getting it all together, it's gonna be pricey, but like if you get an individual game, like no, they're worth it. If they ever go on sale, like pick them up. If you're a fan of these games, if you've never played them and you want to experience them, like pick them up.
Everything but 3 from that collection.
I have a really close friend of mine.
Everything but 3, I should say.
Oh yeah, nice. I have a really close friend of mine who was kind of warning me about 3, where like he said that like 5 was a much better version of 3. Yeah. I still might actually play 3 because I got 3 like with the bundle. I want to experience it, so I'm still gonna play it, but I'm just saving it for later. But yeah,
2 is strange but good. 4 and 5 and 6 is the best.
I'm actually pretty excited for 2. Like, it has a bunch of, like, weird stuff, but, like, no, I like the idea of this weird stuff.
Plus, you're playing a refined version of 2 with the Pixel remaster, so...
Yeah, exactly.
You won't have an issue.
And I know that, like, a lot of people who worked on the Saga, Saga games, I believe they also got their start on Final Fantasy 2, so, like, I want to play that. Like, I want to experience, like, what's that going to be like? That sounds weird as hell. I want to check it out. But yeah, those are a couple of games that I've been playing. One game that I've been playing pretty recently, I just started playing it a few days ago, is a Konami game that I've played before, but I've never really made the effort to play it all the way through. is a bit of an oddity, but it is a subgenre of games that I do enjoy, and that's Western, like cowboy Western games, and that is the Lone Ranger for the NES, developed by Konami.
Okay.
This game is excellent.
Deep cut.
Yeah, I know. It's strange, but like, man, Konami with their license stuff, like, damn, like, even for stuff that I felt like, wait, does anybody in Japan give a crap about the Lone Ranger? Like, do they know about the Lone Ranger? And then like Konami's like, we're this Japanese dev team, and we're gonna make this like this genuinely excellent NES game on the freaking Lone Ranger. And like, I'm like, okay, damn, never mind. Apparently, people in Japan do care when they develop like genuinely great games like this. But yeah, I just started playing the Lone Ranger on NES, and this is a damn good game. Like, it's also from the later era of NES games, so like this is like 1991 era to like 1994, and like there's a lot of great games in that era. There's a lot of just genuinely great games, and like I'm sad that a lot of them are so rare. Like if you do the whole physical stuff, like if you do that, but if you just want to play them, and you know you got like access to like an emulator or like an EverDrive or whatever way tickles your fancy or whatever works for you, like play this game. Like it may not seem like it's that impressive when you first start playing it for a few seconds, but like, no, I promise you, like Lone Ranger on NES is actually really impressive game. I'm like, the gun mechanics are solid, and like the gameplay is damn good. Like this feels like if Bayou Billy didn't suck. Like,
it looks
this
cool.
Is what it this is.
I looked it up right now,
impressive.
and it does look interesting. It goes from side scroller stuff to top down stuff, like,
to, like
stores you can buy things. Like, it does look cool.
There's a first person like dungeon explorer part where you're like looking for stuff, and you get into gunfights in that mode, and like it's really intense. I don't think this game has a staff credits, which is really sad, because I'd love to see like the people who developed this, because like this definitely has the taste of like developers like Etsunobu Ebisu, excuse me, my Japanese is garbage. Etsunobu Ebisu, and I love that man, because he went on to create some of the greatest like Ganbare Goemon games of the franchise. Like this definitely feels like he had his finger in this, or like he helped, like, and I doubt he did, but like the game feels a little like it, and I'm just like really wondering who helped develop this. Like,
you got my interest. Back then they purposely didn't have names. They didn't want people to get poached. So I mean,
of course.
This does sound great, and I have been looking for an NES game that I haven't played before, and I know that Konami does a great job with Western stuff, because
look up the video of it.
Sunset Riders is, I swear, the best one of those like beat 'em up style games.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
I'll take Sunset Riders over like X-Men or any of the Ninja Turtle games any day of the week.
Sunset Riders is just like, it's so weird that game came out, and it's like out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, this game's excellent.
Yeah,
whoa,
it rules.
Like, man.
And it makes me so mad about Konami, because like everybody's Capcom this and Capcom that. I'll take Konami games 100% of the time.
I can get that. I can totally get that.
Like Castlevania, friggin'
of course, Castlevania,
friggin' Contra, Metal Gear, like all of this shit. And like they made such great games, and then one day they're just like Silent Hill. One day they're just like, you know what? Forget it. We're not making games anymore. And it's like, what the hell? You made the best games.
We're going to treat our employers like shit, even though they literally created our history. This is how you treat employers. Employers apparently piss capitalism.
It's
insane. God forbid you treat your employers, well, because employees, like, God forbid you treat them well, because, they created your history,
Yeah, it's crazy what they did to that company. And it seemed like overnight. Like it wasn't like a slow decline. It was just like, we're making great games. Now we're making nothing.
Mm-hmm. They just disappeared for years. I mean, now they're coming back, and I'm excited. Like, I know there's new Silent Hill coming, and I don't know what else they're up to, but there's stuff coming.
I don't know I'm so nervous about that Silent Hill 2 remake. Because
I'm also a little nervous.
There's a lot of nuance to that game. And that's being made by Bloober, and Bloober is notoriously lacking in nuance. I just hope that they do that game right.
There's stuff from Bluebird that I've enjoyed, but I'm just like, I don't know. Like Silent Hill 2 that game is really innovative and had so much in its own history that I'm just like, can they do this? Like, I don't know.
And if it's too big of a game to remake.
I don't know if that's true. I think that there is a way to do that game justice.
Yeah.
But I think it's 75-25 that it's going to go bad.
No, I can understand that. But yeah,
they're back. I'm just hoping that nothing bombs and they keep making stuff.
Yeah. I'm hoping too that like they're okay with licensing out some of their other Konami stuff, because I know speaking of former Konami devs, Etsunobu Ebisu, I know he moved on and he's like the CEO of Goodfeel, and I love Goodfeel. They've developed a ton of like really good, charming games. I'd love it to see if like Konami would license out like a Goemon collection to Goodfeel, because I would easily pay money for that. Like I would buy it instantly. I would get the physical version. I would double dip for it because I love those Goemon games. I love them to bits.
I would be happy to. I'm hoping we get a Castlevania DX collection. I'm hoping for that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We played some on the show recently. We did Dawn of Sorrow. Me and Mike did, and
we sure did.
I need more.
Yeah, those games are excellent. But sorry.
I would love, speaking like now that you're talking about like farming out some series, let me pitch my pitch, which is let From Software make a 3D Castlevania game.
Oh,
yeah!
Okay. I'm on board.
Yeah.
Give the Demon War.
I'd be intrigued to see how they would handle like the whip physics of like swinging your whip. Like,
I mean,
I'm really
done
curious.
They've done it.
Yeah.
If you play Bloodborne, if you play Bloodborne with just the cane whip, like with the, I forget what it's called because I never use it.
Right.
Why would you use it when you have the cleaver? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
The cleaver is pretty godlike in
I love that.
Bloodborne.
But
you guys made me want to replay that game. I can't.
It's great though.
I don't have time.
It takes. It takes
sorry,
like 3 hours to get through Bloodborne. Don't even.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Hot take. I'm not even like the biggest fan of like From Software games, but I love Bloodborne. That game's a masterpiece. That game's amazing.
That's the best game of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game, I was super worried going into the game, like, oh, what if I don't like this game either? Oh, I feel so sad. And then I played it, I'm like, oh, holy shit. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted the Dark Souls games to be. Like, I feel like I actually don't feel like an idiot playing this. Like,
yes.
Wow. Oh, this is so good.
Yes. And I love the Dark Souls games, but I agree. Bloodborne is like peak of what they're doing there. And I think they could do an amazing 3D Castlevania game.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I would really love to see that actually, man. Now I'm curious, like, I really want to see that.
I'm just hoping that Konami will do more, because it would make me happy if they do license out stuff to other people. Just let other things happen, because they have such great franchise. Like, I want another, Mortal Kombat, or not Mortal Kombat, what am I saying? I want more Metal Gear. That's what I want to say. Wrong N-word. Like, I want more Metal Gear stuff. Like, I'm okay. Like, I mean, I haven't played Survive. I know I heard Survive is garbage, but like Revengeance was good. Metal Gear Rising.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is the best Metal Gear game, and I will fight you on that.
Snake Eater is better, but I love Snake Eater.
It's
so
not.
Snake Eater's out. I love Snake Eater.
It's one of my favorite games, Snake Eater.
Snake Eater is, if you don't have, that's one of those games, if you don't have the nostalgia for that game, like if you're just playing it for the first time, that game is rough. Like, to play and like to navigate the menus, it's a rough game. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, on the other hand, anybody can pick that bad boy up and play it, and it rules.
Oh, there also is speaking of Lone Ranger, there is a Lone Ranger game for the Disney Infinity that had that movie.
Oh, shit.
That playset.
I didn't realize that. Jeez.
Yeah, I forgot about it, even though I own it. But I was Googling when I looked up the Lone Ranger game in NES, and it came up for something for that game, and I'm looking at it right now, which you can actually buy the whole Disney Infinity pack for like $15, or I mean, on sale for like $5 every so often. That's what I did on Steam. I have the whole set.
Actually that's kind of amazing. I feel sad I missed all of that entire like thing, that whole shtick, but like I'd like to try it.
wish Skylanders would do that because I would gladly pay $10 for an entire Skylanders game with all the stuff. I mean, they did it with Starlink. Like I bought it on. I mean, I buy them on Steam whenever you want to do that. Failed Toys of Life stuff. You're like, here, we'll sell you our whole collection of games digitally for like $5-10 on sale. You got me.
Starlink is pretty fun.
I want to play it.
Yeah. And that's just about everything that I've played so far in the past couple months. One final thing I will add to something I've been playing on sort of the sidelines is like not a big commitment game, but just playing it for fun whenever I feel just kind of down or whatever, is a game I'm a very big fan of. I've been playing it since I was pretty young, like as a little kid. It's developed by Capcom, released for the NES. I love it to bits. It's a Mighty Final Fight. I just look, I love beat 'em ups. Like I love fighting games and beat 'em ups. I love both genres. I love both genres to death. I love them. I love beat 'em ups, fighting games, any of them, brawlers, whatever. Like I love those. But here's the thing, though. Give me a beat 'em up, and then you give me chibis and a beat 'em up. Fuck yes. Like, sorry, pardon my French.
No, you're fine. You can swear this, Phil.
Like, oh my god, like beat 'em ups and chibis, and you can beat up the chibis, and they're cute, and they make all these like funny faces. I'm just yes.
I'm actually, when we get off this conversation or off this, when we get done with this recording, I'm actually going to go download Disney Infinity on my Steam Deck. I think now that I'm watching this, I want to play it.
Oh, do it, hell yeah! But yeah, I love. I don't know what it is, but in the summer, there's something about the summer where I gotta play Mighty Final Fight sometime. I just gotta play for a couple hours. I love Mighty Final Fight.
I've never played it, but I've been curious too since I found out it existed.
Oh, you should! Yeah, oh my god!
It is really good.
Okay, I love Final Fight 2 and 3. Never touched.
Final Fight 2 and 3 are fantastic. Final Fight 3 is a fantastic sequel. I love that game. I love that game so much. If you ever do a mainline episode about Mighty Final Fight, I hope I am on that episode.
Wouldn't be mainline, but I'd do a mini, but I know now I know
what of course. So. Or a mini or just whatever. But like I love that game so much. It's so adorable and perfect. It's like Capcom trying to do a River City Ransom, and it's like, no, we're Capcom. We're going to do it this way. And I'm like, okay, sure. Like, that's fine.
It came out late, too. I think it came out during the SNES era, just because they're like, well, we need to make a game for...
It was like 93, so yeah, pretty late era NES game, like 93. So
yeah, I played that. I played that by accident the first time on my emulator. I actually thought it was like one of those ROM hacks. I was like, there is no way that this game is real. And then I was playing it, and I'm like,
go look it up.
This is actually really good.
Yeah, I love Mighty Final Fight to bits.
Sometimes they'll surprise you what they put out there. Like that's one thing I love about doing the show. Like, especially these, what are you playing? People will mention games like that missing game that you mentioned that I have it wish listed now. And at some random point, when I see that game for like $5, I'll pick it up in some random Steam sale like 2 years from now and get around to it one day, maybe.
It's really good. It's like a really good game. And like I said, I'm not an expert on how the tone is, but it seems better than it should be for being like such a tough game.
I'm curious. You got me interested, and I'm not a big.
Honestly, I would love to hear the impressions of that game from anybody who's like gone through that. Like my mental health is pretty okay. So like there's a lot of like mental health stuff and like I said, it's like a transgender story. And I don't have like a lot of experience with that stuff personally. I would love to hear from like people who had more of that to see if they did a good job, like if they did as good of a job as I felt like they did.
Yeah. I've been meaning to play that game actually for the longest time because I was already a big fan of Sweary and a lot of his games and Deadly Premonition. So yeah, I've been meaning to play it for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I do want to. It looks like a pretty solid game.
Yeah, when you do play it, I would love to hear your opinion on it.
I'd be obliged to share it. So yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no problem.
But yeah, and to get back onto beat 'em ups, have you played River City Girls?
Yes, I have. I've played pretty much all of the modern Kunio stuff, like River City Girls. Like, oh, they're so good.
So good. Okay, thank you. Like. Nobody's ever played these River City Girls games. I'm like, are you kidding me? Everybody's like, oh yeah, the new Ninja Turtle games, or like that most recent Streets of Rage.
Yeah, there was a
Streets of Rage 4?
Yeah, that were like 4. Really boring. And I'm like, no, River City Girls is like a video game. It's like a beat 'em up, but there's also like I mean, that's how River City Ransom was as well.
Yeah, of course.
That's always been like higher level beat 'em up. It's like a beat 'em up with like more to it than beating
Really?
stuff up.
Really cool like RPG mechanics. And also something that I love and respect out of those River City Ransom games on the NES is not only are they like adorable because it's chibis, so like hell yes, beat 'em ups and chibis, but also I love that if you go into a restaurant and order a drink or a piece of food or a snack or whatever, you and instead of like having an animation of a character like drinking from a cup or whatever, they eat the cup or they eat the plate with the food and just chomp, swallow. Like
it is
holy crap.
It's a great animation of them jamming whatever they're eating into their face.
I'll order a cup of tea instead of drinking the tea, just go and then chomp, swallow. Like wow.
The games are great. And River City Girls, I think is like the top of that genre. That's me personally. I'm not huge on the beat 'em ups because I need a little bit more out of them. And that's why I think
can totally get that.
Yeah, I think Mighty Final Fight is, I can't believe that somebody's like, I love this game, because I played this and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to talk to anybody about this because nobody else will have ever heard of this.
My taste in video games tend to be kind of like a little random and a little like odd. Like there's like stuff that like people love and I'm like, yeah, this is okay. But then there's like weird, obscure shit that I'm like, oh my God, I love this. And I feel like no one like has ever heard of it. And I'm like, heartbreak.
All right. Well, we're best friends now because that's exactly my that's exactly my taste. Like if you were to ask me my like favorite, like I keep lists of everything, and like Deadly Premonition and Catherine were like my two games that I love from like the PlayStation 3 era. And everybody's like, those are your favorite PlayStation 3 games? I'm like, absolutely. And speaking of a game that does not handle transgender stuff well, Catherine, but still a very fun game.
Yeah. Oh no, I love Catherine, but yeah, that stuff is like pretty dicey. It's like
was that in the original or is that the remake?
It's in both. It's in both. The original and the remake, unfortunately.
Yes, there is a transgender character in the original, and they made a romance option, which I think they did worse than the original.
Yeah, that's the really unfortunate thing. Like even the remake has it. I'm like, oh, you guys, come on.
Yeah.
I played it a little bit, but I had a really hard time with the game because my brain doesn't like puzzles.
It's like for one thing, it's a puzzle game, and if like you're not into puzzles, it's tough.
No, not unless I can cheat, and they're random. I found out.
No, I can get that.
The puzzles are hard.
Yeah, they are.
I'm bad at puzzle games. Like,
I barely got through that thing on medium, on like standard.
It's a puzzle game where you have to be quick on your feet because it's like Crazy Climber. You have to constantly climb and move stuff out of the way. Like
I got to near the end when you find out the secret about about the bartender. That's how far I got. So I was decently into the game. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You got that far in and you couldn't get through the rest of it. That's surprising.
I also think I just gave up and just stopped playing it.
Yeah,
I can get that.
I would have thought that moment would have come sooner. Like I feel like if you get to that point in the game, you're invested. But I mean,
it could have been that my life went to shit and I don't remember because it would have.
No, I can get that.
There was a timing in my life where I ended up moving out where I was living and I stopped playing games for like a year or 2 years.
I can get that. No, I can get that. Real life.
I don't think it was there, but I can't. I usually don't fall off games. If I play a game, I usually force myself through it, but I don't. All I know is the game got too damn hard. I was done.
It gets very, very hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't. And I had probably a 4-year-old, 5-year-old at the time, so I could only play when he's sleeping. And
yikes!
No, of course. Yeah.
I get it.
I don't want to sit there and bang my head.
Real life happens.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I always say this about like any of my nerd shit. Like that's like like this nerd stuff is awesome. Like video games, like all this stuff, like video games, like they're amazing. But real life happens. You got stuff in the real life. So yeah.
Someday, because my wife
want to play Catherine again. God damn it!
wants to play it. I have it on Steam. I bought it in some sale because I'm like, okay,
nice.
It's great. Try it on easy.
I was on easy, I think.
Oh no!
Oh no!
But I could be wrong. There was a time where my dumbass would try to play on normal for achievements, But I don't remember. I'm sure if I actually loaded up my 360, I could probably find out, but I don't care enough. So
That's understandable.
I'll bet you at this point, if you played it on easy, you could probably power your way through it. But
yeah, I feel
again,
like you could.
I mean, if you don't want to spend that much time, because it's not like it's just the puzzles, it's also the like visual novel parts.
I like that.
And the other stuff. Like, there's a lot going on in that game.
I remember being very cool. I want to play it someday again. I just have a hard time with puzzles in general. Like, that's one reason I'm not enjoying Phoenix Rising as much as I want to, because there's so many puzzles, and sometimes my brain's like, okay, you want me to do this? Sometimes my brain's like, what the fuck do you want me to do? And I just have to look online because I just can't. Maybe something really simple too. Like I don't like this. Too many puzzles. Like there'll be a lot of times.
I've had that with certain puzzles in games where I'm just like, okay, I think I get this, but like actually getting my brain to do the thing is really goddamn hard.
Like that game is littered with puzzles throughout the world map, probably like Breath of the Wild. And I'm like, that's nice, and I just walk away and be like, I don't give.
Normally, when there's puzzle stuff that I'm like banging my head against, I'm overthinking things. That might be what's going on. I've trained myself that I try the simplest thing I can think of first, and 8 times out of 10, that does it. And I'm like, all right, I would have tried to do these 6 things first, and that would have just made it impossible. So just like go into a puzzle and go, all right, what's the stupidest way I can do this? And do it that way. And that's going to work more than it won't.
Okay.
That's my puzzle game tip.
I just try to avoid them.
Unless you're playing The Witness, then don't do that.
No, I know. I'll not play Witness. Fuck that. That is beyond my interest.
Yes.
Right, should we go on to TV and movies?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start. I've been in a weird phase that I've been into the History Channel cinematic universe of Vegas, apparently.
Ooh, okay.
There's a joke to this that I'm going with. So I started watching Pawn Stars, then I started watching American Restoration, which is the guy that's on Pawn Stars in the first couple seasons, Rick, who has his own show. I watched a little bit of that first season. Then I started watching Counting Cars, which is the guy that's also on Pawn Stars.
Oh my God.
Like I said, cinematic universe of the History Channel. And he owns a shop in Vegas, and that's actually pretty good. Counting Cars is good. American Restoration is kind of boring. And then I also been I watched some American Pickers, but I've been like obsessed with Pawn Stars, where I watched 6 seasons in the last month or so. And those are like 35 episode seasons. So like huge fucking seasons. I don't understand why that show is entertaining me, but I like Pawn Stars.
Yeah.
Stupid show at times. It's fun to just throw on when you don't care. And so is Counting Cars. Counting Cars is pretty good too. So I don't know if I don't recommend either, but they're on Roku. So hey. I mean, you know what you're getting. If you're just like, here, I want to put on something where I'm going to edit or just have on the background or just there, it's not bad for that. But
yeah, I listen to Jeff Gersman's podcast when I'm editing my podcast, which is probably not a great idea. But
he was
long. It's long. What's that?
Else?
Jeff Gersman, formerly from Giant Bomb, now doing his own thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad for Giant Bomb. They lost all their original people.
And it's bad now. Oh my god, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't listen. I haven't listened to them in years, just because I used to listen to them because I worked third shift, so I needed lots and lots of podcasts to fill 3 hours a week. I don't anymore, so I don't listen a whole lot.
Yeah.
But all right, Michael, what is something you've been watching?
Well, are we doing TV or movies first?
We can do TV first.
Okay, I watched the Twisted Metal series.
Nice.
And it is so much better than it has any right to be.
That's what I've heard.
These games...
Yeah, I've been hearing that too. Like from
these
a lot
games
of
that are nothing. The games are nothing. They're cars with guns attached to them, driving around in a demolition derby. That's all they are. To make a show out of that has these characters that you care about so much and makes you cry when a car gets blown up. Like, that is... I went into it expecting it to be stupid, and don't get me wrong, it's pretty stupid at most parts, but it's so well acted, it's so well written, it's so funny, and you care about these characters so that when like somebody dies or whatever, you're like legitimately sad for that, like for them. when stuff happens to these characters, I'm like, I was not expecting this. I do not watch television. For the most part, like even stuff that I like, I barely watch. I binged it in 2 days. I binged Twisted Metal in 2 days. It's
Nice.
so freaking good. Highly recommend if you have Peacock or something that lets you pirate stuff, watch it. Even, like I said, I don't usually watch things. I had one show that I really liked called Only Murders in the Building that
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Just
Selena
came out.
Gomez.
just came out with
Yeah.
a new
And
season.
Steve Martin and
Steve Martin,
what's his
Martin
face? Martin
Short,
Short?
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, there we go.
The new season came out. I watched the first 2 seasons. I'm like, this is great. This is fantastic television. First episode of the new season is the only one I've watched so far. I'm like, oh no. They're shoehorning in. It feels like the first 2 seasons were the story that they wanted to tell. And then Hulu said, oh no, you have to make us more seasons. So they're like, oh, well, now we have to find somebody else to murder that they have the, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'll watch it, but I'm
makes
not
it harder
happy
when
about it.
show is supposed to end, but then they're like, guess what? You get more, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
we don't have more.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. And maybe it gets better throughout the season. Like I said, I only watched the first episode, but that's sort of what it felt like. But
Okay.
Twisted Metal doesn't feel like that. And it also feels like they have their whole second season planned out. Now, when it can get written and, actually done,
Mhm.
that's a different story. Hopefully, when these greedy billionaires running these studios like actually pay their creative people to do the creative jobs to make the things that people want to see. Hopefully they're still like, all right, we're still ready to do this second season. That's what I'm hoping for, because it ends on a cliffhanger and I want to see the rest of this. But also if it's too much for them after, I'll just make up the rest of what happened in my mind. I'm okay with doing that. But I highly recommend Twisted Metal. It's fantastic.
Okay. That's what I've been hearing. I'm curious about it. I don't know if I'll ever get to it, but I'm curious about it.
It's, I think, 10 half-hour episodes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad.
Nice.
I'm weird with TV, so.
Yeah, I'm also weird with TV, and like I said, I normally don't finish things. I will watch 2 or 3 episodes and go, this is good, but I'm not going to watch the rest of this. I couldn't stop watching. I couldn't stop watching Twisted Metal. It's so fun. And that's my TV.
Okay. What about you, Kyle?
TV for me has been a little sporadic. I haven't been watching a lot of new stuff at the moment for I would say for American television and stuff like that. I have actually, I apologize, this is going to get pretty nerdy, so I do apologize, but I've actually been watching a lot of anime. I will condense it to just a couple of different shows. Lately, I've been an anime fan for most of my life, but there was kind of a lull period where a lot of new stuff wasn't really catching me, and I was just like, oh, do I like anime anymore? Shit, I'm not sure. And I got a little worried, but a friend of mine who I considered a kind of a mentor, I really looked up to him. He passed away in 2020. His name was Zach Bertsky, and he was a critic, and he used to help run the site Anime News Network. Anyways, I was a big fan of his podcast that he used to run, and about half a year ago, I started listening to some of my favorite episodes from him, and it really actually lit a fire under my ass. And I'm like, oh, actually, you know what? I do really love anime, and I want to watch stuff that I haven't watched before, and I want to rewatch some stuff. I really want to get my brain juices going, and I want to just think, I really want to understand myself on why I love anime and what do I love about anime. So since around February of this year, I've really started watching a lot more anime and rewatching shows. And I've actually finished off a couple of different series so far. So I'll start off with a show that I recently finished about a week and a half ago. It is an OAV series from the 90s, original video animation for what that means.
I did not know that.
It's a series. It's a series called Giant Robo: The Animation: The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's sort of a come together of a story of the creator of the original story of Giant Robo. He also wrote a bunch of other comics on a bunch of different things, and there was this animator who wanted to make an animation for Giant Robo, but the thing is, he couldn't use characters from Giant Robo. Like, it's this weird like legal thing he couldn't do. So what he did is he went into the original author's like comics and like works, and he basically took characters from all the other comics the guy did, and he made into one giant like mishmash, like a giant like massive crossover, and made like a full like series of episodes on this. It's about 8 episodes long, and he did this full crossover series. And I'm not normally into like big robots and stuff like that, but I thought the series was excellent. I was really impressed with it. I was actually, I'm sorry, it's 7 episodes, not 8 episodes. My apologies. Anyways, I thought it was a really great story, a lot of great plot twists. I felt like it really explained its characters well and their motifs. I feel like you really actually give a crap about the characters in this universe. I was really impressed with it. I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought the animation was fantastic. Some of the best animation from that era. Ironically, even though it's not animated by the same studio, the animation reminded me of Batman the Animated Series, but it's not actually done by anybody who did work on Batman the Animated Series. The animated series was done by a different studio. I know it was an American cartoon, but there were some Japanese studios that helped out with Batman, and I believe one of the biggest ones was Tokyo Movie Shinsha. But anyways, Giant Robo, The Day the Earth Stood Still was really damn great. I really enjoyed it. I'm so happy I watched it. I'm actually, I guess I'd call myself now a fan of the director of the animation, and I want to see his other work. He did a Gundam series that I have not seen, but I would like to watch. So I watched that. That was a really great watch. I had a blast with it. Another series that I watched was a show from the 2000s, the early 2000s. It's a series called Noir. It's this series about this French woman who's an assassin, and it's set in like the modern day of that time, and she's an assassin. She's a hit woman. And out of nowhere, she gets this mysterious email from some person who's like, oh, I know your past. And like, it starts entitling her. It starts like talking to her and talks about like her history of like growing up and her family was murdered by the mafia. And she's like, I know all of this. And like, I want to meet you. Like, I don't remember anything from my past, but I feel like you would know. And I want to meet you. And along with the email comes this mysterious little song she attached to the email. And it's this weird, like, little pocket watch tune. It's this mysterious little, like, song, and it's really eerie, but it strikes memories to her. And so she meets up with this girl who happens to be a Japanese teenage girl from Japan, and this girl does not know anything about her own past. She can't remember anything, but she's really good at killing people. And so they meet up in Japan, and they're ambushed by a bunch of goons, by a bunch of like hitmen, and they're mysterious, and they don't know these two women don't know what's going on. And so at the end of the first episode, they decide to team up to take down these mysterious like hitmen who are assassins and hitmen who are trying to kill them. And they're trying to figure out like who these people are, what their group is, why they think they know each other, and like why they're somehow connected to each other. And I actually really loved it. I thought the animation to it was really impressive. It got an excellent Blu-ray transfer. And actually, speaking of earlier with Giant Robo, that also got an excellent Blu-ray transfer. I'm really happy that these pieces of animation were considered so important to get like good Blu-ray transfers. I really appreciate that. I'm happy when stuff isn't just left to the curb, like stuff is actually treated well, and like these animators and directors and everybody and the staff and in between, like everybody gave a shit and made sure that this got a good, proper like a video transfer, whether it's DVD or Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray or whatever. Like that makes me really happy that people like give a shit about this, and it's not just some lazy garbage, and it's not some or AI garbage or anything like that. Anyways, Noir was a damn great watch. I had a blast watching it. The plot twists were really good. It kept you busy. It kept you thinking. It had a lot of great mysterious characters who are just like these weird personalities, but you're so intrigued by them. I had a lot of fun with it. Noir was also was just like a total blast. I really had a lot of fun with it. And that's pretty much what I've been watching for TV stuff at the current moment. Yeah, so that's a little bit of my side of this.
I have one show that I just started watching a couple days ago. I'm in season 1. We just started watching Succession on Max.
Ooh, I've heard that's a really great show.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna probably be watching. I will be watching it tonight. So.
That show has a lot of actors who I like really love. Like,
yeah, it's really good.
I'm surprised I haven't watched it myself. I'm a little worried it might just be kind of like rich assholes being rich assholes, and I'm
they are. That might, but hey,
but I've heard it's actually like great, and the writing's really great. So I don't know. I need to get up my ass and watch it. No, like I'm usually actually kind of fond of that because like I love stuff like Breaking Bad. I loved series like that, or HBO's Girls. I'm a big fan of that show. Like I love the whole like. It's not even so much that like I like people that are despicable, but it's just like I like the whole like, oh, you'll hate these characters. But like, no, I actually kind of find that realistic. Not in the sense that like I hate everybody or I hate people, but just like no, like sometimes everyone's just a bit of a shitty person, and that's okay. It depends on how you better yourself from.
But it does have one of the Scott Pilgrim alumni, Culkin guy.
Yes, that's Kieran Culkin. Which that's another thing that got me excited about Succession because I was like, oh, I love Kieran Culkin. Hell yeah! Like, yes, I love that. That's wonderful.
If you like shitty people shows, might I suggest The Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
Oh, I want to watch that show too. There's a lot of actors. There's a lot of actors on that show that I love too, especially John Goodman. I mean, I grew up with Roseanne, the sitcom,
John Goodman's
I love the hell out of I love the hell out of John Goodman.
Okay, I'll have to add it to my list then, because I mean, Succession won't last super long, so.
Yeah, it's only like 4 seasons, so it's a quick
10 episodes each. So it's nice. And, I mean, we were watching Glee, and my wife went to watch like 20-some episodes. She's still in season 1. I'm like, you're still in season 1? That was turned it off. She was done. Because I'm like, I don't care until season 3, because then Grant Gustin shows up, and I'm okay seeing him on the show, but couldn't get there. It's just too much. I mean, network TV is just too much.
It's a lot of episodes per season. It's like 24. Like, Jesus.
Sometimes more. But yeah, again, I'm watching All Stars, and that's 30-something. But hey, that's a History Channel cinematic universe, so it's okay.
Yeah.
There literally was an episode where Rick's Restoration Show, Counting Cars, American Pickers, and Pawn Stars all had something to do with one thing in the show. Because American Pickers helped them find the car, Pawn Stars bought the car, Counting Cars helped them fix up the car, and so did Rick's Restoration. So all those shows had something to do with this one car. Cinematic universe.
Ugh, gross.
So, and so I have 2 movies to mention. One I'm going to mention, and one I'll save for our last topic. I watched Ant-Man Quantumania finally. It's a movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
So I've heard.
It was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. Movie. Fine. It just bums me out that they didn't wrap up that trilogy in the right way. That they made a weird sequel that doesn't really feel necessary, and just was a.
I've enjoyed Marvel stuff in my past, but I'm kind of picky with a lot of modern Marvel stuff. But I've heard a little bit about Quantumania, and I don't know, it sounds a little sad. I felt like I felt like they would do a little better with how to end a trilogy.
And MODOK's
like that.
Awful, so ugly.
Yeah.
It's so bad and so stupid. I mean, I just played Marvel's Avengers not that long ago, and they did a fine job with MODOK. Like, this is just awful. Everything, the way he looks, the way he talks, I'm like, this is not MODOK. This is just stupid.
James Gunn is the only one who can make a superhero movie that I enjoy. The rest of them, I think all of them are garbage, except for
I used to be I still like
Guardians movies, and the Suicide Squad were fucking fantastic. But other than that, I'm like, God, these are so long, and the same thing is happening in all of them.
I will admit I've enjoyed some of the earlier Russo brothers movies, but I don't know, even they kind of started falling to crap where I'm like, guys, what's going on? I feel like you had such a mark of quality to you, and you're just
Winter
letting
Soldier
it go.
It's fucking amazing, but it's just kind of
Winter Soldier.
I think they need to
that's a damn good movie.
Well, the strike will help them just sit back and take some time away to not release 10 movies a month. Like, we're probably 10 movie a year. We're probably not going to get. I mean, Aquaman 2 might get pushed back to next year from the sound of it again. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
But and Michael, what are some movies you've been watching you want to mention?
Oh, okay. I watched one movie that I want to mention.
Okay.
I finally got around to seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Okay. How was it?
Ooh, nice.
It's fine. The animation is really cool. The characters move. I'm not sure. This is just what it looked like, but it looked like the characters were moving at and I'm going to use video game references here because I don't know how else to explain it, but it felt like the characters were moving at 60 frames a second and the backgrounds were moving at 30.
Okay.
Ooh,
Which seems like it should be weird, but when they're doing action stuff, it looks so cool. The movie is the movie itself is like good kids movie. There is nothing special about it besides the fact that it's Mario. I think Chris Pratt did a fine job as Mario because here's the thing about Mario. Mario's not a character. Everybody oh, I love Mario. It's why? Mario is nothing.
That's fair.
He's a video game character for the people whose favorite Ninja Turtle is Leonardo. These boring ass people who just want a self-insert character. Give me Luigi 100 times out of 100 over Mario. Peach is great in it. I think Anya Taylor-Joy is a fantastic actor.
Oh, I loved her. I thought she was one of the biggest highlights of the movie. In the movie,
Jack Black, legitimately great voice actor. Charlie Day does great. He's not in it enough. Toad, highlight of the friggin' movie. Keegan-Michael Key is hilarious in this role.
Honestly, for half of these actors, I'm just y'all should also be voice actors. Just do more cartoons. You got good voices for it. Keegan-Michael Key, especially. That guy can do really impressive stuff with his voice. Be a voice actor.
So funny. You might not recognize it, but there are some people who, are hilarious in a lot of things. And then when they try something different, it's whatever. Jack Black and Keegan-Michael Key, 100% in everything they do. They're great. Yeah, the stuff with Luigi, I don't think they did enough with because I think Charlie Day did a great job. And the stuff where they were focused on him the little bit, I was like, this is fun. This is interesting stuff. But as far as a kid's movie goes, it's really good. I enjoyed myself. It's only an hour and a half, which
sometimes that's nice.
That's a plus in my book. If a movie is less than 2 hours long, that's what I want. But yeah, as far and I wasn't expecting much because I'm sort of anti-Nintendo. I'm not a Nintendo guy, but yeah, I had fun with it. Seth Rogen does fine as Donkey Kong. I think there might have been a little bit too much Donkey Kong in the movie, but otherwise, great, fantastic. Good job to everyone who made that movie, including Chris Pratt, who I don't like personally. I got tired of pretty quickly.
Just too much of him.
There was just way too much of him at one point. I was like, Star-Lord, cool, great. And then I'm like, oh, he's going to be in these Jurassic Park. He's just he's just going to be in everything now. I loved him in Parks and Rec, but he's sort of a shithead and I'm tired of him.
That's fair. Right. And Kyle, do you have any movies you want to mention?
Yeah, actually, quite a few. I've watched a couple of a bit of a miscellaneous kind of selection of films, but I'm a little disappointed in myself because I usually like to try to keep a better track on things where I like to watch a lot of art house movies and indie movies and along with mainstream stuff, but I've been a little off my rocker this year and I've unfortunately not been keeping up with art house stuff, so I'm a little sad about that, but I have been trying to just watch more movies, period. And I have my little list. Let me just kind of get up and there we go. Okay, so starting things off, I guess I will also comment on the Mario movie. I thought it was super cute and adorable. I wish it were kind of a better movie. I felt like it could have been something really actually special, but for what it is, though, it's super cute and fun. And if you got kids, show them this and that, if they like Mario, they'll probably really like it. And if they don't like Mario, they still might, have fun with it. It's a fun movie. I had my fun. I had my good times with it. It was really fun, and I was actually pretty impressed with a lot of the performances, especially Chris Pratt. I was a little surprised with how abrupt the Chris Pratt like hate train kind of happened. Like, I'm not like judging anybody, or like whatever. I liked him in stuff like Parks and Rec and the Guardians, the Galaxy movies, like, and even the Jurassic Park movies. I thought he was okay. I'm not a fan of those Jurassic Park movies, but yeah, he was okay. Anyways, yeah, the Mario movie was super cute. I loved all of the Nintendo references. That was just super charming and adorable. And I was like, man, knowing all these references, I feel like a kid in a candy store. I'm just gleeing, and my cheeks are apple. I have apple cheeks, and I'm just so happy. But yeah, the Mario movie was super cute and a lot of fun, and I had a blast with it. Yes, and I am the 33-year-old that brought my Shy Guy plushie to the Mario movie. I walked in to the goddamn movie theater with my bag that had my big Shy Guy plushie, and I brought him. I went to the concession stand, I bought my ticket, and I went to the theater, and I sat down, brought my Shy Guy plushie out, and put him and I was like hugging him alongside watching the movie. And I'm 33 years old, by the way. I'm an adult. I can do whatever the fuck I please. I'm sorry. Just, oh, God. Anyways, yeah, the Mario movie was super cute and lots of fun. Wish it were like a better movie, but whatever. What they did was fine, and I'm happy it wasn't like a train wreck or anything. So, yeah, and then moving along, because I listened to the audio book of it, going off something a bit different, I listened to the audio book of Cujo by Stephen King. I decided to watch the movie by I can't remember the director's name, but the Cujo movie adaptation from 1983, and I really liked it. It was actually straight to the point, and it was very much straight to the point, and just very to the action. Really good adaptation, good casting. Really impressed with the child acting in this. I know child acting can be really kind of questionable, and like sometimes it's really great and sometimes it isn't. But the child actor for Cujo was honestly damn great. I was really impressed. And I believe let me just remember who played the mom in this, because I really like her. Dee Wallace, the person who plays the mom in Cujo is Dee Wallace. I've always loved Dee Wallace. I've watched a lot of 80s movies, so I recognize her in so many different things. She was excellent too. And that final half of the movie where they're just stranded in the car, I think that's the perfect, like, that's the meat of the movie. That's straight to the point of this whole novel. It's great, and it's really well directed. It's chaotic. It's hectic. You feel like you're sweating buckets along with these characters, and you're just trying your best to stay not positive, because I mean you're stuck in this and it's hard to stay positive, but just you're trying your best to stay sane and with these characters, and like the dog seems ferocious and terrifying, and it's just really well done. I was really impressed with this. I was really impressed with this adaptation. I'm surprised for Stephen King adaptations this isn't higher rated. I really enjoyed this movie. Damn solid adaptation. And this is from a Stephen King book where, like, Stephen King has admitted to writing Cujo, he was in his full addict phase. Like, this is him, like, pumping lots of booze and drugs into his system. So
that's like, when he wrote his best stuff.
Yeah. No, I can totally get that.
If you like this movie that much, there's a documentary. It's called Dog Days. I'm pretty sure I watched it on Netflix.
Ooh.
But it shows about the making of the movie, and it's really, really good.
I gotta check that out, because I was really impressed with this adaptation. I've actually seen this movie once beforehand, but I was like a kid, and it like really fucked me up. I couldn't sleep the night I saw it, and it was like 3 a.m, and I was like just like channel flipping, and I saw this movie, like this mom and this kid in the car, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? And then the dog like gets in there, and I'm like, oh, holy shit! And I'm this little kid, and I'm terrified. So
that's my only experience with it. I saw something like that once, and I've never watched that movie, and I.
But yeah, after like seeing it now as an adult, I was really impressed with this. There we go. I found the director. It's Louis Teague. So many kudos to Louis Teague. Did a damn fine movie with this. Damn fine adaptation. Great performances, especially from the kid actor, Danny Pintaro and Dee Wallace, both were excellent in this. I was really impressed. Just really impressive method acting for the performances that they're given. But yeah, anyways, that was Cujo. I really liked it. I will move on to Polite Society, this British Indian movie. This kind of an action comedy. It's about this teenage girl who wants to be a stunt performer, and she's a martial artist, and that's what she wants to be with her career. And this movie was excellent. I really loved this. I believe this was directed by the woman who created the British TV series We Are Lady Parts, which is about this band, this rock band made of all women who are all Muslim. And I haven't seen that series yet, but I've heard that series is also fantastic. Anyways, Polite Society is excellent. There's some pretty, kind of fucked up twists in it where I'm like, okay, we're going to go into this direction. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It was a blast. And the two lead actors as the sisters are both fantastic. And I want them to have long careers. I want to see them do cool stuff and be good actors. And just, I want them to see them. I want to see them in so much stuff because they're both fantastic. But yeah, Polite Society was a blast. Moving on to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This was fantastic. I loved the first Spider-Verse movie, and I loved this. Honestly, these Spider-Verse movies give me faith in modern, American animation. I love how weird and, mishmashy they are. They're, so many different styles of animation combined into one, and I love that. I love putting stuff in, a blender and mixing it all into one just weird thing. Just a total mishmash. I love stuff like that. And the Spider-Verse movies have really blown me away. I'm very heartbroken to hear about the staff, the crunch with the staff of this movie. That's so shitty. That's awful. I want better rights for the studio workers and the animators and everybody in between, especially with the strike going on. I want better payment.
They should get it. I think it's going to finally happen. I want better payments and rights and everything for all these workers. They make our entertainment, and it's bullshit that they're treated like garbage like this, and they're paid like shit. This is bullshit. This is an injustice, and it needs to be served. Welcome to America. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are anybody any non-creatives that I know. Whenever I'm talking about this, are they're these rich millionaires and they don't do anything but right. And it's first of all, nobody's a rich millionaire. The only rich billionaires are the people who own these fucking studios and the distribution things. And second of all, fucking creative people deserve so much more than they get paid. The Renaissance happened, and it was a huge boom for the world because creatives and inventors got paid for creating and inventing. And everybody's like, oh, the Renaissance. It's yes, the fucking Renaissance happened because people who created things were given the time to create the things. Everybody would be screwed if there was no movies to watch or TV or radio or podcasts or any of this stuff. It's and people don't realize this, and it drives me crazy. And they're like, oh, well, AI can write that stuff. Have you ever heard or seen anything that was written by AI? It's garbage. And if the AI writes stuff based off of what AI wrote, which is going to happen eventually, it's going to be so much worse.
Yep.
And non-creatives, I don't know what goes through their heads when a non-creative person is just well, who cares if these writers don't get paid? It's that's why there's so much garbage, entertainment. So much entertainment is garbage, and people bitch about remaking movies. It's well, pay somebody to write a new thing and, keep them on staff to make sure that it stays good while it's being filmed. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. We have so much money in this country. Give it to people so that they can make things to make our lives more enjoyable. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm off my soapbox now.
No, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. That's should be said right now with all the things going on. But yeah.
I always wonder why people worship Elon Musk. I'm
no kidding.
If he had his way, he'd be the Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Dumber.
Oh God.
It's because people are boring and stupid.
Well, we're taught to worship people that had a lot of money because
Yeah.
they had a lot of money. They must have worked their ass off when.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not the obviously the people listening to this show are not boring and stupid. They're great.
I agree.
But there are a
I
lot
agree.
of people in this country and the world that are boring and stupid.
Yeah, those are damn great points, and thank you so much for bringing them up. But yeah, I thought Spider-Verse was really impressive. It blew me away. These damn movies.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. But yeah, these damn Spider-Verse movies just always blow me away, and I'm just. Like I said, I'm a big fan of like animation where you put all these different styles together and just like put it in a blender and mishmash it all. Like I love that. It's so weird. It's so obtuse. I just love that type of stuff. It just really tickles my brain and it just gives me good feelings and good emotions. And I'm all here for it. But yeah, anyways, I watched that damn good movie. And then I watched the 2021 action movie, Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, and I loved this movie.
Hell yeah, it's great.
Ironically, for being created by one of the John Wick guys, I actually kind of liked this over any of the John Wick movies. I thought Nobody was very clever and funny, and I also loved that, like, our hero, he's not perfect. He's not this, like, action Mary Sue character of, like, he can do everything and he's perfect everything. Like, no, he gets his shit kicked in a couple of times, and I thought it was really good. I liked the characters. I thought the writing was really funny, and I really appreciate it. Just a damn great action movie. I think it's one of the best of the decade. This goes with, like, movies like John Hyams' Universal Soldier: Day of Reckoning. Just one of the best action movies of the decade. Really good stuff. Really impressed with it, and I thought Bob Odenkirk was funny. I mean, I've always liked Bob Odenkirk as a comedy guy. Like, even before he became, Saul Goodman with Breaking Bad and, all these, like, spin-offs. Like, he was a great comedy guy. So, yeah, Nobody was excellent. And then moving on,
just real quick, did you ever see Super?
I've seen a little bit of Super. I know that's a James Gunn movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's with Elliot. It's with Rainn Wilson, and Elliot Page.
Yes.
Yeah, Elliot Page. Damn good movie. I've only seen a little bit. I've been meaning to watch the full thing since James Gunn has, like, gotten super famous, but I don't know. I just haven't made the time for it, but I do want to.
It reminded me of Nobody.
Yeah, I can get that.
That's why I brought it up. Just,
of course.
if you have some time, and it's also like almost an arty movie.
Yeah, I will definitely make the time for that. Thank you for bringing it up. I really appreciate it. Moving on, a little further into July, I watched from 1993. I'm actually not familiar with the plotline of this series, but I know of it and I've heard of it multiple times. I watched Abel Ferrara's adaptation of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, titled just Body Snatchers. This is directed by Abel Ferrara. It came out in 1993, and I loved this movie. I thought it was a fantastic adaptation. I know a little bit about the original story, the original book, and I know of its adaptations. I haven't seen them, but going into this, because I was curious about the cast list and the director of Abel Ferrara, that guy's done some interesting movies. I really loved this adaptation. I thought it was fantastic. I thought, especially for a guy who's mainly known for doing, like, gangster movies, I thought he really tapped into the teenage girl dynamic character really well. I thought I thought he did a really good job talking about, like, youth and what it represents in this movie, and just dealing with growing up and kind of just being trying to just live in your life. I thought this was a damn great version of Body Snatchers. I thought this was a great adaptation. I was really impressed. And I thought the fact that this really shook up the adaptation, instead of being in, like, a coastal town in California or a small town, this takes place on an army base in Alabama. And I thought that was a really neat way of taking the story, especially with, like, the military and, like, how you're supposed to act in the military, but then you have, like, these weird, creepy tentacle monsters that, like, take over human bodies and, like, take over their personalities and, like, combine that all together. And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea for a horror movie. So yeah, I saw it and I loved it. Great adaptation. Really impressed. I'm not, like, the world's biggest fan of Abel Ferrara, but I've seen a couple of movies from him and I really like his stuff. Also a big fan of Bad Lieutenant with, I think, Harvey Keitel. Really solid movie. Anyways, Yeah, Body Snatchers was excellent, and I loved it. And then, so please don't yell at me, but I've known about the series growing up. Like, of course I know about it. I saw, like, all the toys and the video games and, like, all the George Lucas-related stuff, but I had actually never seen an Indiana Jones movie in my life. And,
missing out. That first movie is so damn good.
So I finally watched Raiders of the Lost Ark in late July. And yeah, holy shit, this movie's fucking excellent. This is
even though Big Bang Theory tried to ruin for me and tell me that Indiana Jones has nothing to do with that movie, I watched it in theaters and paid attention. I completely disagree, because if it had not been for Indy, they would have got the Ark in the plane and left. I disagree with what Big Bang Theory says. Yeah, this is a fucking excellent movie. All the actors are great. A little sad about all the brown face in it. Kind of disappointing, but I mean, it's of its time, unfortunately. Yeah, was it the 80s?
Yeah, this was 81, so right at the beginning of the 80s. But
that's
still a damn good movie. Really impressed. I just want to say I love Karen Allen so much. I kind of wish she got her own spin-off movie. I wish Marion Ravenwood got her own spin-off movie. I wish that could have happened.
Been cool. I wouldn't have minded that, personally.
I would have watched the hell out of that, because I loved Marion Ravenwood in this movie. I thought she was such a great character, and I thought she was awesome. And of course, Harrison Ford's excellent. But yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is excellent. I was really impressed. And I don't want to spoil, like, the movie, but that last half in the final act where, like, they're all at the big fire thing, and it's like, oh no, the good guys have lost, and then they open the treasures, and then just like all of those Nazis just get fucking murdered. I'm like, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I laughed my ass off. Seeing all those Nazis just get massacred was the greatest thing. Like, thank you, Steven Spielberg. Thank you. I'm glad I could count on you to murder some Nazis. That was wonderful. I applaud that. But yeah, Raiders was excellent. I was really blown away. I'm gonna watch I'm gonna watch the sequels, because you got to.
They're everything but Crystal Skull is good.
Yeah.
The second one.
I know people have their comments on Temple, but I'll watch
Crystal Skull.
Yeah. No, of course. I'll still watch it though. I know people have their comments too about Temple, but I'll still check it out.
Just be prepared, because you were talking about the brown face, and like there's a lot of especially racially insensitive things in that movie. It's pretty bad with that.
Yeah, no, it is.
Unfortunately.
And again, product of its time, but it's tough to go back. It's tough to go back to and watch again.
No, of course. But I am curious to check out the sequels. Anyways, moving right along, into the end of July, I saw the Barbie movie, and I absolutely loved it. I was already a fan of Greta Gerwig with her acting and her directing as well. I loved Lady Bird. I related to it quite a lot. I loved her adaptation of Little Women. It's a great story in the first place, but I like what she did with her adaptation. I was really impressed. And seeing her handle a Barbie movie, I was like, okay. And yeah, I was really impressed with it. I think the Barbie movie talks a lot about, just all.
Oh, that was going to be my final topic too. I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Do you want?
No, you're fine. That's the last thing that I also saw Barbie in theaters too. That movie was fucking great.
Yeah, I know. But this talks so much about a lot of intersections about feminism and what it means to be a woman, and trying to just be a person, and what does that mean to be a person, and what is your role as a person. And I think this also talks about what it means to be a man, and trying to understand yourself with your manliness, and trying to understand yourself, period. And being a transgender person, this movie actually hit a lot of cores that I wasn't expecting. I understood a lot of Barbie's side, but I also understood a lot of Ken's side, and I'm like, whoa, holy crap. This went all over the place for me.
To really bring it to trying to think. But I mean, I just find it funny, all the people that broke up after seeing this movie.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm like, if you're someone that's like, yeah, Ken's right. He's right. Like, yeah, he's not. That's the point of the movie. You're missing.
Well, but also just if a movie broke you two up, I kind of wonder how strong your relationship was in the first place.
A lot of people have bad relationships.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Yeah, just, like,
Speak some of mine,
This
so
is
I
why-
get it.
this is why if you're dating someone, this is why you should talk to them. Like, actually talk to them and talk about things. Like, even if it may make you feel uncomfortable, like, you gotta talk stuff out. That's the only way you can really deal with a relationship is you gotta talk to them. You gotta form something. Like, that's how relationships go.
I mean, some people are just weird. Like, I have a friend of mine. She was dating some guy when she was talking about when she went to his room, he had a big Confederate flag hanging above his bed. So,
Oh no!
yeah, that's a red flag, all right.
Yikes!
But,
Okay, wow.
It made me laugh. 'Cause we're in Minnesota. We're in the northern state where there is nothing here to be honoring Confederacy. Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, there's nothing to honor in the first place. But it's like, yeah, if you want people to know what kind of person you are, that's
Yeah,
what
no
you do.
kidding. In Minnesota, for God's sakes.
That cracked me up. I'm like,
But yeah, I loved the Barbie movie, and I was really impressed. I really want to see what Greta Gerwig is going to do next. If she doesn't want to do a sequel, that's fine with me. I just want to see her just do original stuff. I want to see what she has in her brain.
we're gonna see more toy movies now because that's what
See?
worked. It wasn't because of the women; it's because of toys.
Yeah, not about the writing or the women or the subtext. No, it's clearly the toys.
Michael, did you see Barbie?
No, I don't go to the movie theater, and even
Yeah, I can
though
get that.
my co-host of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast that I do has been battering me about going to see it, I still have not, but I will see it as soon as it comes out on whatever streaming thing.
I believe it's supposed to hit. I heard it's supposed to hit streaming and video in September, so you won't have to wait too long.
Yeah, it's usually like at this point, ever since 2020, because it was like getting to my television at home where I can watch it with the nice sound and the big screen and my comfy chair with my own snacks, and I can pause it to go to the bathroom. Like, I haven't felt the need to go to the movie theater.
Honestly, that's super valid. If I had that type of combo, I'd be the same way.
And we used to also work at the movie theater, so I know what happens on those seats. So I don't really want to sit on the movie theater seats anymore.
Oh no!
You have my attention, sir. I think I know what happens on those seats, but you have my attention.
Well, I mean, not only what you think is happening, because that is happening mostly in the back, though, but like one time we went to clean the theater and we found out that someone had dropped their pants and just shit on the seat that they were sitting on.
Oh no!
And then the managers were like, just sprinkle some of that stuff on it that makes it smell good, and then put a garbage bag over top of it. And it was like that for months.
Wow.
So the seats in movie theaters are horrific.
I get
Jesus.
it. I will never work in the theater.
Yeah, same.
Hey, people have sex in weird places. I don't know what it is, but I used to work at the Mall America, and we would work in the parking lot, and some people had sex in the car, and I'm just like, why go somewhere else? Like, get out of my parking lot. Like, I gotta clean. So we used to circle their car and act like we were cleaning just to bug them, make them go away.
Yeah, that's for either kids who still live at home or people who are cheating on their spouses. Like, that's really the only reason to be fucking in the movie theaters and in the car in the parking lot.
But no, you should see Barbie when you can. It's really
no, I definitely will. It sounds amazing. I have no, like, the only reason that I haven't seen it so far is that I don't go to the movie theater. That's the only reason I haven't seen it.
And because I Googled movies based on a toy, a list came up on Wikipedia, and you'll like this one.
Oh no.
Movie Ouija, I know I said that word wrong.
No, that's Ouija. Yeah.
Yeah, it came up there as Ouija and Ouija Origin of Evil. I'm sure those movies are all right. All right.
Well,
the second one's actually pretty good. The first one's
I was just gonna say the second movie, Origin of Evil, is actually like really damn good. It's the director of it, Mike something, I can't remember his last name, but that guy's like an excellent horror director. He's one of the best modern horror people out there.
It's also on my Patreon poll.
Nice.
I don't want to watch it.
It's really good.
Oh yeah.
The first one is whatever.
Yeah, it's gimmicky and kind of crappy.
Yeah. And I will say, speaking of toys based on movies, not really. Also, the Super Mario Brothers. I was going to say something about the Masters of the Universe movie, because that is really bad, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's also short. So, like,
80s one?
Yeah, the Dolph Lundgren one.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. But
I believe Courtney Cox is in that movie too,
Yes.
and that's the 80s. So
Yep.
Nice.
And then that original Super Mario Brothers movie I just watched for the first time like 2 months ago. It rules.
I'm actually in the camp that like even with rewatching it, I don't think that movie's actually good. But there's a lot of stuff about it I appreciate. And also two things I want to state about the Mario movie. Number one, Yoshi in that movie is fucking adorable.
Yes.
I want an animatronic Yoshi dinosaur puppet thingy. Like that thing is adorable and I want to kiss it and I want to have it as a pet and just, oh my God, it's adorable. Just like, what's a way that you can make a dinosaur cute? Make it that way. That's adorable. And number two, that part at the very, very end when they're getting chased and like, they get on the mattress and they go down that little ice tunnel thing.
Yeah.
That looks like a ride, and I want to ride it. Like that looks like a ride. That looks like fun.
Here's the thing about the original Super Mario Brothers movie. It is not good. It's not good. But it's so interesting, and it takes so many. It's just like we're just gonna do this, and then they just fucking do it, and it's I appreciate anybody who can say like we're just going to do this thing and then they do it exactly like they were going to do it, and who cares? Like that's part of the reason I like Deadly Premonition so much is because that feels like a game that Swery said, you know, this is the game I'm going to make, and I don't care if I have to cut corners with the graphics or whatever. I'm making the game I want to make. And that's what that Super Mario Brothers movie feels like. It's like, this is the movie we want to make. We're making this movie. They made that movie. People hated it, but otherwise you're just going to get, you know, the one that came out a couple like last year, which is like perfectly fine, but like so safe.
Yeah, no, I can get that. But yeah, I there's parts of the 90s Mario movie that I do respect, and and honestly, there's stuff that they actually do nail from the video games that I feel like they did a good job of, like using the ba-bomb correctly. And by the way, I think the ba-bomb is very cute. Like the design of a ba-bomb, like period, like from the games and the movie, I think is very cute. But I just love how it's just walking around and it's just like, oh man, it's coming, and then
you want to rewatch?
It gets stuck in the mushroom stuff, and then it finally falls out of it and starts walking again. I'm like, yes, it's coming.
Yeah, don't watch it as a Super Mario Brothers movie. Watch it as a movie on its own terms.
I'll plan to get high next time I watch it. So.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting that they were able to make a big studio movie with like big time actors. And just they could do that with it.
Someday. I've been meaning to get it on the show for like 5 years now. One day. All right, I think we should wrap up this episode because it's going a little long for
today. And to wrap things up my end, I just want to say the last thing I've watched. To wrap things up, speaking of Harrison Ford stuff, I wanted to watch this for its 30th anniversary this year, is the 1993 movie The Fugitive, which I've seen little bits and pieces of, but I've never watched the full thing. And that movie was also fantastic. That was damn good movie. I constantly forget that it's made by the directing of that movie was done by a guy who did like a bunch of Steven Seagal movies. Like, holy shit, this dude knows how to do action stuff. I'm not even a big Steven Seagal fan or anything, but like he did a great job with The Fugitive. Damn good movie. Really impressive.
Steven Seagal fan?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Steven Seagal fan, but no, like I thought The Fugitive was damn great, really impressive, just a great movie in the 90s. I love the 90s. I'm a 90s kid, and yeah, that movie is just an excellent movie from that era. Like that's something you hold in retrospective, like, oh yeah, this is great.
Okay. Oh, if you get a chance to see U.S. Marshals too someday, that's a really good sequel.
Oh, I will check that out. I've heard a little bit about
sequel,
it.
But it's a sequel. It's just not talked about.
No, of course.
And Kyle, where will find you at?
They can find me over on Blue Sky and Twitter. On Twitter, I am UFO_Canada, and on Blue Sky, I am Chibi UFO dot Blue Sky dot, I believe. Hold on, let me load it up. Excuse me. I am Chibi UFO dot Blue Sky dot social.
I think you said Twitter, but I think you meant X.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it X. Fuck Elon Musk. He can eat my balls. You can find me on Twitter as UFO_Canada and on Blue Sky at chibufo.bluesky.social. And also you can follow me. I forgot. I feel weird about this. You can follow me on Instagram at ChibiUFO, where I just post random stuff and pictures of my life and things I enjoy. So hope you enjoy that.
All right. And Michael, where can people find you at?
They can find me on podcast applications on Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, which is an absurdist scripted comedy podcast about a haunted apartment building. It's really fun. It's like a sitcom podcast. You can also find me and be on This Bizarre Adventure, which is a longtime, big-time JoJo fan and like cosplayer. And I am just watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the first time, and we're going episode by episode. And it started off as a JoJo podcast, and now it's like half JoJo podcast and two unhinged leftists talking about how terrible everything is.
Honestly, this sounds fantastic because I'm also leftist. I am leftist as shit politically, and also I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Well, check out This Bizarre Adventure. I think it's really fun.
Thank you. I will.
At Jack Billings Presents on Instagram and Threads, and then Jack Billings Presents on TikTok, and also we have a new character coming onto the show who also has a TikTok, and their TikTok is Say It April.
Nice. Okay.
Very horny content.
Okay. That's TikTok in general. I feel, well, at least what I seem to see.
Well, Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex took a turn towards the horny. We're less about. We're doing less monster and ghost stuff lately, and doing much more horny stuff. So if that's the sort of thing you're into, you will not be disappointed.
All right. And you will see link in the show notes to both of them. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 500 other episodes of Games My Mom Found. We do movies, comics, TV shows, all sorts of random crap, whatever I convince people to do with me. We also have over 2 years of What Are You Playing? You can go through our giant catalog and listen to all that. If you want to support the show, we do a Patreon. You'll see a link in the show note. For little dog, you vote in our poll. Each month we have different polls. Right now it's horror movies that Mike has never seen, so definitely go check that out.
Ooh, okay.
We do have a Discord too, so please join our Discord. You'll see a link in the show notes. I have an updated link if you're someone that tried in the past and didn't work, so please join our Discord.
Yeah, join the Discord. It's boring in there.
I'm trying to make it better. I've been talking more now. Because you mentioned a comment about that, so then I just started talking more, and it's been seeming to work.
It has been more lively in there the past.
That reminds me, I've been on a couple of different episodes of the podcast. I need to get on the Discord because I usually like hanging out on Discords. And
I will send you a
stuff.
link so you can join.
Thank you. Bless you.
It's fun.
I need more people. And I want you to shout out my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has For You. You can follow her on TikTok. You will see a link in the show notes to her TikTok. So definitely go. And she's TikTok famous. So definitely go check her out.
Nice.
Also want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker to his own podcast, The Gamer Looks at 40s. Definitely go check out his work too. He's been on the She did all the MC movies with me. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. X. And we are on Threads, and we are also on YouTube, audio only, but I am on YouTube if you'd rather get your podcast that way. So definitely go subscribe. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.